And Maggie Blackwell is with me from United, and we're in the, kind of the tail end of budget season. We're getting there because it's presented on TV in August.
Right.
And I think you guys are Friday the 11th? You're gonna
We
August
are
11th?
Thursday. Oh, well,
I forget.
August 9th is Friday.
August 9th, okay.
Yeah.
But along with that, you present that, but then you tweak it a little bit more. But by then, it's pretty well set in stone.
Right. Okay.
So you're going to talk about
Yes,
that, right?
I am. This is the budget season. Actually, the second half of every year is the budget season. It's the most painful time of year. People think when they come in here that the fees are set and that's the way they will stay forever. And unfortunately, our buildings and everything get older, and they've heard about that. And so they know that if we don't do the supply lines, if we don't epoxy the supply lines, then people will have a whole lot of difficulty in their unit, and costs will go up astronomically, not only for them, but for United too. And so we have to be preparing for everything we have to pay. If you have an old car, it costs more to service it. A new car, you just take it in, oil change, whatever. It's fast. This happens, and people don't want to accept it. They want it the same as always. And we can't do that. For the budget calendar, we have 5 meetings on the budget. We had one on May 30th, one on May 31st. We had one on June 19th. Now we have July 11th is coming up. And then, we had that. And then we have August 9th and September 10th. So that's May, June, July, August, and September.
Yeah.
So it's 5 years. It's not a surprise. And it amazed me at the meeting, the board meeting this month, that a couple of directors were astounded and proclaiming that the preliminary budget was the final budget. The preliminary budget is what staff puts together from all our past and current data. We're of course only halfway through the year.
Right.
And they put together what the budget is and what they actually spent on each year. And then they are supposed to put on what it would take to make us happy. In other words, if we say we're underfunded in this, we don't have enough money for this, and we tell them during the year, we need more for this, or we take it out of the reserves, or we just say we have to plan better next year. And so they are trying to make it, the preliminary budget is the initial budget. That is the one that says we're going to do everything we did before, and we're going to go up to the service level that the village desires. So you know how United members are.
Right.
They always want it better. They want more service in landscape. They want more service everywhere. And so that is what the preliminary plan is. It is the status quo or past, but it makes the status quo like perfectly sensible. And so they bump things up a little. If we had this, then we would have no complaints and we would have an easier time solving this problem.
Right.
And so on. And so that is the preliminary budget. Now, one director on United forgot what preliminary was, and he thought that this was the final budget. This was the final budget. And so he's been running around telling people, oh, it's going to be horrible, it's going to be horrible, the sky is falling. The sky is not falling. This happens every year. I'm surprised. This is his 3rd year. I'm surprised he hasn't recognized it before. So we have phase 1, and I will go over this for landscape and talk too much probably, but this is what the landscape budget looks like right now. Now, staff has been told, no, we are not going to go for this perfect picture. We're going to have to cut back and cut back and cut back.
Right.
But an interesting thing to note is Third pays $30 a month more for their assessments than United does. What did they get that is so different from us? Well, perhaps I'll talk about that in the end. Maybe we don't know why, but They have the same landscape activities that we do, and they don't have to replace refrigerators and stoves and everything. So might that be a clue that we are underfunded? It might be, because our people get more service than they do.
Right.
So anyway, after that plug, I will go on. This is what we have going down the items as presented. The first item is shrub bed maintenance, and in a perfect world, we would bump that up 13%. Shrub bed maintenance is shrub bed raking, weeding, mulching, replanting, edging of planters, and so on. The cycle varies seasonally, and we have 75 shrub bed acres in United Mutual. It takes 12 weeks for one complete coverage in United, except we're trying something new. Now we're going to send out just 1 or 2 workers per cul-de-sac, so that every cul-de-sac seems like it has workers. And they work alone with a bush trimmer, and they trim the trees from wherever they can stand. If a tree branch is low, they just go with the bush trimmer like that. I was amazed. He was, how strong are you to wave this big bush trimmer over your head for hour after hour trimming? And then he goes over to the bushes and he sculpts them very carefully and so on. And then he puts all the stuff. So he's working as a single person. And so that goes on ahead, and then the other team comes back later. And our teams, the mowers are the same guys that do the shrub beds and so on. They have so many tasks to do. But this is shrub bed, that's our most important. And so we upped it. We said in a perfect world, we would like an increase of 13%. And that would help us move faster and get more things done. The second thing is our lawn maintenance. We had a director at an earlier meeting that said our lawns everywhere were 1 foot deep. So I put a bag on the table that was 1 foot tall. I said, you mean your grass is this foot deep everywhere? I said, show me pictures. So he brought in some very carefully extracted weeds. And so I praised him for pulling weeds and encouraged him to do more. But I said, our turf is not this high. It would be up to your knees with every step, and particularly with Kuya would be walking on crunched mattress kind of thing. So anyway, lawn maintenance is seasonal. Summer we mow every 7 to 9 days, fall 9 to 14. Winter 14 to 21 days. Dethatching is the new item that we would like. See, if we could do this, we would do dethatching. That's very good for the lawn, makes it healthy and much more beautiful. It hasn't been done recently, and that is the extra up. It's up 13%. That is what the extra would cost, dethatching. And that would be wonderful. And any other hotel or any other group would be doing that because they can charge whatever they want. And people still come. We have to be careful, so that may be something that goes. And when you look at the grass and you say it looks horrible, it might be because it's all thatched up. And so there will be allowed no complaints if we have to give up dethatching. You cannot complain. All right, then there's small equipment repair. Well, when these guys are working around, they use equipment. You have to repair it. These guys in the small equipment repair also deliver the equipment. Every afternoon, you'll see between 3 and 4 o'clock, the trucks go out and they deposit everything the workers will need the next morning, except the nursery delivery comes later. And so they are needed, and they help receive supplies and orders, and they refurbish everything. They take care of the mowers. We have to have that. You cannot just say, okay, we're not going to repair our equipment. Another group is miscellaneous tasks. And this one is up 43%. I'm not quite sure why, except for the storms. This is the group, or the category, that preps for storms, puts out the sandbags and so on, and repairs storm damage. They also prep for the paint crew. They prep for fumigation. You have to wrap the plants up, and so on. And then they have to clean up the creeks after the storms, and that is a huge process sometimes.
Right.
And this varies per year, and you think, oh, this storm is gone, it's all right, and they all come out, and some of them have to come on the weekend and so on. And the more storms we have, the more we use them, and the more overtime we have to pay. And so if this were a perfect world, we'd jump it up 43%. It's not a huge budget item, but we would jump it up. The next item is our nursery. Our nursery is a wonderful saving device for us.
Right.
Because every plant we plant, we have grown in our nursery.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the trees are grown in our nursery. Almost everything. That saves us a fortune from going to buy it from somebody else. It also gives us a good choice. We can say, we'll put this with this and this with this, and it gets delivered by our own people right to the spot
Right.
where they have to plant it, and so that's good. The nursery will be up 21% because there are parts of the nursery that have not been reshaped or tended to. We need some renovation of the nursery. And so if we renovate the nursery, that will go up 21%. In a perfect world, we would want that. We have to decide. Our landscape administration, of course, supplies support to the mutual boards and committees. The administrative staff provides customer service, prepares work reports, annual operating budgets, and so on. That's only going up 3%. It's like just this big. So that will probably be okay. Pest control is going up because we know it's going up because we know that the alternatives to the Roundup are more expensive, not that
Right.
more expensive, but it will cause us to go up. So it will be up 21%. We're also using growth retardants. So you can have a wonderful plant like lantana, very colorful, and bougainvillea, very colorful, very beautiful, nasty thorny, but very nice. And those things usually, if you grow them outside or in the wild, they get big and they would cover everything
Right.
in 10 minutes. Well, we put a growth retardant on them, and then they're very hardy and they don't use much water, so this is an ideal plant for
Yeah.
us. So then we can keep them in the smaller areas, like an area like this. We can plant lantana there, and it blooms over and over throughout the year. It looks really good, and it's a hardy little plant. And it's great as long as we can keep it little. So we use growth retardants. So our pest control and growth retardants, and this includes weeds, insects, ants, wasps, bees, rodents, and everything else that is a pest. And growth retardant comes under this kind of controlling thing. So that would be up a little bit. Slope maintenance is something we're going to contract out. And we're contracting out the big slopes. It's like if you enter gate 1, there's a huge slope on the left. And there are other
Yeah.
places. Third has 1 million slopes. United has several. But we're thinking of contracting that out. If we contract that out, then our laborers get to keep doing
Right.
the regular work. And that's really what we want. We want more service.
And I think, isn't that what Third's?
Third is doing the same
doing
thing.
that,
And
yeah.
they have humongous slopes everywhere.
Right.
You enter gate.
Yeah.
It's just tremendous what they have. So that would be up 12%, but it does free our workers to do other tasks. And so that's really important for us. I hope we keep that one. The next one is composting. This is another fortune saver for us. So we make our own compost. We don't have to buy mulch. And we don't have to haul all the clippings from things off to the dump.
Right.
See, hauling it off to the dump is one expense, and then buying the mulch at a store is another expense.
Right.
So we mulch our own stuff, and that's why we have the tub grinder, which we are purchasing. And so that will be up 8%, which is just nothing, but they save us hundreds of thousands every
Right.
year. The next one is our reserves. This is important. Our reserves, we had a $50,000 reserve study this year, which was instigated by a director who was unhappy with many things on the board and said, you need a reserve evaluation. So we did have a reserve study. And what we found was that we are 2 years from being in the red zone for special assessments. We are underfunded in our reserves. And so that director was very angry with that report, and he wants to throw it out the window. Now that we have it, he doesn't want to follow it. But this is scary because here we are up here. In 2 years, we will be in the red zone. We will be in the red zone for reserve contributions. Okay. In other words, we run the risk of having to assess our members special assessments to the tune of $6,000 or $7,000 or whenever we need it. It's like a small CID, just bills people when they need it, and all of a sudden they've got a $6,000 bill because they're roofing the place. Well, we are doing everything. We're trying to collect assessments gradually because this is the way we're paid. We're retired. We don't get big bursts of money from things.
Right.
So we have to pay things slowly, and that's why it is very important for us to maintain our reserves. The study suggested, it didn't suggest, it recommended that we bump it up $7.76, I believe was the price, per month, $7.76. And we don't think we're going to go that high. It would be crucially important, though, for us to stay out of that red zone. And that means, that may be the difference that Third has. I have no idea what they have. But that would clearly be an easy difference. So we do need, because we can't run out of money. If we use our reserves, like we're using now, for the waistline remediation, we run out of money. We do no more waistline remediation. We do no more what? What do we stop doing in M&C? What do we stop doing? The roofs or the plumbing?
Right.
Or the electricity? What do we stop? Where would you like us to cut? And when we run out. So we can't do that, so we would have to make a special assessment. And that's just sudden. It's unpredictable. A lot of small CIDs do it because they can't have reserves, or they don't choose to have reserves. And so I will plug the reserves. I say we need to be very careful not to be underfunded. That is the first thing we cut every year. We say, oh no, we don't need so much to go to the reserves. Well, yes, we do. These years we're using up the reserves, and we're using our contingency fund for various things. And those things need to be paid back so that we have some predictability and ability to control what is happening in the future. I mean, you can't leave yourself without any funds.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. So please, we still have until September. The final vote is in September, second week of September. Every meeting from now on, we'll be cutting here, cutting there, fighting about this, fighting about that. Does M&C win over landscape? Well, quite possibly so. But so we have to consider everything. And my question to the resident is, what do you want us to cut? We're your service agency. Do you want us to stop doing the maintenance? Do you want us to stop doing the pavement? Do you want us to stop doing? What do you want us to stop doing? Because we are in a bind now. $30 short, less than third for years has put us in a precarious position.
All right. Maggie, thank you very much.
Okay.
I really appreciate it.
Okay.
You take care. Have a good weekend.
Okay.
We'll be right back.